Hey guys, welcome back to the 1v1 podcast. I am your host Vlhadus, and I don't know why my thing is flickering, but hey, who cares? I have today a very, very special guest. He is Stick Quinto, but better known as Q. What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? Good Friday?
Oh yeah, no, man. I'm alive. I'm healthy. We just got a great live stream, so yeah.
Dude, okay, so just so people know, y'all are hearing this on Wednesday, but right now we just finished, actually it's past 5 o'clock. I've seen the live stream, Q's seen the live stream, so we're going to be talking about the live stream in pretty much in all its detail. But also, before I get into that, Q's been actually doing YouTube content, and he just started not just a couple of weeks ago. He's got a couple of videos underneath his belt, and I want to talk about, before we get into the YouTube part, I want to talk about first like your gaming history, like what brought you into the MMO scene, and like what games have you played?
So MMO scene. All right. So I know the average age for like the MMO player is like 36.
No, it's not. It's younger.
Is it really?
No, it's not. I just hate the fact that I am like the prime demographic age.
I'm pretty sure I watched your video and like that came from your
No,
mom.
it did. I just
Word.
It is what it is. I'm old.
It's all good. No, dude, you're young. You're good, dude. You're young. So with that said, I'm 28 years old. Right?
Okay.
And back in like 2007, I one of my friends put me on the RuneScape. Didn't know what it was at the time. Yeah, it was my first time I've ever played any type of like MMO, and I was like, hey, like this is like really sick. And I played a little of that, and I logged into my account the other day, right, to just see how my 15-year-old account is doing, and it's still kicking. So yeah, man, I played some RuneScape in high school. I played Perfect World for a little. Right, New World dropped a year ago. I've still been on that, right? And I never got into WoW, so I really want to get into Classic. But yeah, man, I would definitely consider myself green, I guess, if you would, in terms of when it comes to MMOs. I've been very casual.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess I'm looking to be hardcore and learn more, right?
Right. I think the MMO scene is so vast in what you can do in it, right? So it's not just like, oh, I want to be an MMO player because I want to go hardcore. There's been many people for decades being super casual and play it for professions, play it for role play it for just 2 hours just to get away from the wife or the kids or the family or whatever, right? So they're just trying to invest their time in a game that is forever going. You know what I mean? And I personally love that kind of a game. I love where the game's never ending. There's always something to do. There's always something to shoot for. But I feel like with certain MMOs, the time investment doesn't feel worth it. Like for me, playing WoW, after playing for almost 15 years, the time investment just doesn't feel worth it for me anymore. Like I put in so much time into that game. I don't regret that time at all. But, for someone like yourself, I would say expand your horizons, try Classic for sure. Hell, even try retail. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that, just try retail too, because at the end of the day, you got to understand the vastness of MMOs and understand like where certain MMOs are going or where they are now to see where the pain points. Why are people quitting WoW? Same thing. Yeah. Why are people quitting New World? It's the same reason why with this new update or this new expansion, they're fixing a lot of the pain points that the reason why people quit. So especially being a content creator, right? Like people want to know what is different in this experience that I got from this other experience. Like, and you have to know, well, what were those pain points for people? And it can be to such varying degrees. It could be because like, I just felt like, the daily game loop of Endgame was boring. Yeah. Or I didn't feel the world was immersive enough. I felt like I was in a hamster wheel because most MMOs nowadays are theme park. So compared to Sandpark, or Sandbox, I should say. And I think that's like a main reason, but I'm just really curious. So like, you said you've been playing New World, like ever since last year. So you've stuck with it the entire time?
So it's been like up and down, right? I haven't even hit level 60 yet. That's so like I'm in like level like level like
Whoa. Okay.
54, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So again, like very casual, but I like to like listen to other people and just see their takes on things. So for
Hmm.
example, I'll take you. You had a one-on-one, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and
Hmm.
you said that you didn't like New World and you found out you didn't like it within the first 20 minutes. And I was like, wow,
Right.
that's really interesting. And I
Right.
think it was because it had like three abilities or something like that, like
Right.
or something in that. And I was like, wow, like I never even thought about that. Like I
Right.
never thought about how like there's so many different MMO players and they want 1,000 abilities, like
I don't want a
right there.
thousand. I just want more than three. That's my thing.
But exactly, and I was like, wow, because like for me, I feel, and this isn't like a shot at anyone, but I feel like for me, it's just kind of simple. I kind of want to just be in a
Mhm.
world, be with other people, and just kind of explore things together. And I'm like, yeah, I guess like that's really what I can break it down to, you know.
For
Um,
sure. But
so yeah,
I think New World does play really well to that.
yeah,
The world itself is actually really beautiful. The Lumberyard engine, I mean, it's awesome. Like the way how satisfying it is to cut down trees, the gathering, you know, I think some of the world looked very bland because it was like copy
yeah,
pasted throughout,
copy and paste.
yeah,
Yeah,
just throughout the world and stuff. But with this expansion, it looks like they finally are redoing the old world, which I
trying to go.
think was a great move because even they knew that this was not up to their own standard.
Yeah, I think, and just to touch on this too, I think to be fair, like they know they were wrong, right?
Oh,
Like they
right.
they yeah,
100%.
like come on, dude. Like you're copying and pasting like areas in an MMO that's insane. Even with like the mobs and everything, it's just crazy. But that's something that I even needed to look into. I'm like, why are people not liking New World? Because I wasn't even that deep into it, and that's
Right.
exactly like what I mean of the type of like MMO player that I've been in my lifetime. I'm like, oh, like these leaves look nice. So look, you can walk in the water. Real stupid stuff, right? It's all an exaggeration. But it
Right.
wasn't until I actually did my research and I was like, wait, like this really is copy and paste. Like
Right.
these are really good points. You really can only use three abilities. Like, oh, wow, like these are valid points. So I was like, oh wow,
Right.
and then to just make my own come to my own conclusion on it. So yeah,
I think that's the biggest point, right? Is to make your own conclusion. Like that's what I don't like to shit on New World or its players.
yeah,
Like I want for them to have a great MMO
for
because
sure.
again, I love MMOs in general.
Yeah.
And again, I think with New World, you technically have six abilities because I believe you can weapon swap between two.
Yes.
So you have three and three. Awesome.
Yeah.
But like the other thing I honestly don't like about it is I don't like abilities being tied to weapons. Like I'm of the mindset, of course, being from WoW and a lot of other games do this, where your abilities come from your class,
Yeah.
and as you level, your class enhances that, thus your abilities get better, stronger, whatever. Like weapons in general are usually just stat sticks. And again, some people find that to be very boring, which is why they play something like New World or maybe Guild Wars 2 or
Hmm.
where abilities are tied to its own weapons. But I feel like whenever it comes to MMOs in general, there's so many different things as to why a person would want to quit MMOs. And I think, well, let's actually go into this, right? So you just
Yeah.
recently went into like content creation for YouTube, specifically going into like Ashes of Creation.
Yeah.
You may talk about your experiences in New World or just the other MMOs you've played. Why did you make
Sure.
that decision? Like, why did you start making content?
So I've been making content for a couple of years now, actually, but it
Okay.
wasn't until recently. Well, back in 2020, I had some people in my stream and they told me about Ashes, and ever since then I just kept up with it. And
Hmm.
as time continued to progress, and I was like, hey, like, why don't I actually make content for this game? MMOs are something that I've always wanted to dive deeper into. So again, like I stated, like so for anyone watching, I'm not claiming to be like an elitist, a hardcore, any like I'm very green. So I want to go into Ashes and continue to learn more about the game and I guess enhance my MMO knowledge and experiences.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and that's right. That's the decision. That's why I came to that decision with making content for Ashes because I guess it's like a two birds one stone kind of thing. So it's like as I'm making content, I'm learning more and more about the game, and people are learning with me.
That's awesome, man. Like, I actually really, really like that. And most of the time, people feel that, oh, I need to be an expert in this field.
Yeah.
But again, like, I honestly feel like Intrepid is probably going to take like a lot of the feedback that you say probably in your videos more, I'm not saying seriously, but just more to heart because of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, as a brand new player, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's super valuable. And again, like there needs to be a lot of different voices out there. I mean, you're gonna have your action Andes and your tab target Andes, like there was today in today's live stream. People were just, man, when they were doing that tab target, man, everyone was like, tab target, you know, and I'm like, bro, calm down. They're probably gonna show action, chill. And it was so funny when I saw chat, like when he switched, okay, we're gonna switch now to action combat.
The
and then
switch up was crazy.
But it was so good. And here's my thing too, right? So I played a hunter in World of Warcraft for almost 13 years. So it's similar to a ranger. It's just a bow and arrow class. When I looked at footage for New World, and mind you, this was kind of like months old footage, right? It's not what they probably did or whatever revamp or whatever. But in New World, when you pull back a bow, it zooms you in. So you don't have access to see what's behind you, what's in your left, what's in your right. You basically just see what's like in this vector, and that's it. And I personally just hate that. I play a third person MMO to see everything around me.
Around you.
And people were like, oh, I hope it's like New World because it's so good, and da da da. And I'm just like, I understand if you like New World, great, go play New World. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a game that's doing it. It's your game.
In my personal opinion, and I don't want to like, like stray too far off the topic, but I think especially with Ashes of Creation, there are so many people that are kind of like, I don't want to say projecting, but they're like, well, if the game doesn't have this, I'm not gonna like it. Or if it has this, it's gonna do this. And Steven has said several times, like, yo, this game's not gonna be for everyone, So I just think that's super interesting too. I come from the mind, from whatever game that I've played growing up. I just try to really, and it may sound like I'm like, like catering or whatever, but I really just try to be, appreciative and grateful for like what the devs give us. It's like, this is what it is. All right, let's take it and let's make the best out of it. I'm not saying we can't have criticisms. I'm not saying we can't correct people where they're wrong, especially when they're wrong. But I'm like, dude, like, this is what it is. Let's just make the best out of it. And yeah, I try to like, have that come across in my videos too, dude. Just coming from like a positive like point of view, right? Just
For
because I feel
sure.
so many communities can be toxic, right?
I completely feel you on that. And that's the thing, like, you always have to be your 100% self. Don't be 110%, don't be 90%. Just be 100%, man. Just at the end of the day, like, that's why people watch other people, because it's really hard to fake genuineness. Like, when you're genuinely being yourself, like, and people just recognize that, they're like, oh, okay, like, you either like it or you don't, right? Like, you take it or leave it. And I think that's what really gauges people's opinions, but it also comes from their experience. Because if there's someone like you who, let's say they play Fortnite, right? They're 25 years old, they look at you and they're like, dang, I was like, he just started playing MMOs recently. Like, I've never played one before, you know what I mean? And bam, like, you're already being authentic, you're being genuine. They're going to be attracted to probably listen to you more to someone like me. You know what I mean? And that's the whole beauty of it. Again, just to kind of wing it back to the action and tab thing.
Yeah.
People always do project. And it's the same thing. Like, I'll make an example when it comes to like a burger, right? When you've had a really good burger from a restaurant, anytime you go somewhere else, you're going to project that burger experience onto that restaurant because you want it to taste just like that. Like, it's like, man, this place has nothing on Shorty's or whatever burger place you tried or whatever, right? And I think that's where MMO players are coming from. They feel like whether you're a BDO person, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, they project their favorite features or the things that they perceive as the best onto Ashes because they just 100%. Want Ashes to be the best it can be for them. You know what I mean? Like, because they want to be able to enjoy the game as much as they enjoy their main MMO. And I understand that. I do that too. You know what I mean? It's super hard to do that, especially for someone like me who's had, multiple MMOs underneath my belt. Not to the extent of World of Warcraft, but, I've had a variety of MMOs to see what works for me and what doesn't. And it always sucks when the thing that doesn't work for me, Ashes of Creation says, oh yeah, we're going to do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh, like why? But at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna hate or say, well, I'm not gonna play Ashes of Creation because they're doing that one thing. Well, guess what? They're doing like 106 other things completely
Insane.
like correct for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, hell, look at World of I come from World of Warcraft, dude. I know you haven't been in that vicinity or
Yeah.
but the toxicity and the crap I've been putting up with for years, bro, I can put up with anything Ashes of Creation throws at me. Like I can literally put up with anything. So I mean, for me, like, of course, like I'm gonna always take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? And I think for me, as someone who's played Hunter in WoW for almost 13 years, I was so happy for the information that we got from Steven and the things that we saw during this this ranged basic combat reveal. I just want to ask you, when you're playing UWorld, do you play with a gun or bow and arrow, or do you play with like a two-handed greatsword, or what do you do when you're playing?
I'm a mage, man.
Oh,
So I
okay.
got,
So
yeah,
Frost
ice
Gauntlet or
Yep,
Ice Gauntlet.
Frost Gauntlet and Fire Staff.
Nice. Okay, so you do play ranged, but just
Yeah.
in magical ways.
Yeah.
So what
Yep.
did you think about the way Steven was shooting the bow and just the basic combat vibe? Did you like the fact that it stayed to the third person?
To be honest with you, I'm more of a fan of the tab targeting. But again, right? Like I can appreciate a game that doesn't have that because
Right.
I'm not coming from this point of view where it's like if it doesn't have this, I can't play it.
Right.
Again, I think it, and again, I'm not trying to like cater or like like pucker up, but it's just like all right, like we have both now, so like that's good for everybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And the way that I look at things is it's just I just want Ashes to be the best that it can be, just like everybody else, obviously.
Right.
But Ashes is it's and I know you know this, but Ashes is actually more than Ashes, right? It means more than just a new MMO. You have someone that's put his own money into it, is creating the game that he wants to create. This is unheard of. And if it goes the way he wants it to go and goes the right way, bro, like we're gonna be like a part of history. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds like so far-fetched,
Oh no.
but in the pay to win era that we're in, with the way just media is in general, the rehashing things, Ashes is completely not against that, but completely like the opposite of that.
Right.
So it's just like I want to see how far that can go, right? Because like how many conversations have you had with your friends where it's like, I just wish they would stop doing reboots, I wish they would stop doing sequels, right?
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe like this rapper is like remixing another song, or like they did this type of stuff, like and Ashes isn't doing that, which is why I say like it's so much more than just the game. It's like, bro, like if you can pull this off, like what will this do for other people that want to create their own video game that's going against the whole pay to win? Bro, listen, I get it. I love what Fortnite has done. It's contributed a lot, but I hate the battle pass meta. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much because it's just like, all right, we're gonna scrap together some content, give it to you for 3 months, all right, and then we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again, and it plays off of FOMO, and it plays off of just like renting and repeating. I hate it, and I'm looking for something new. I'm not saying that we don't have space for that. I'm not saying that can't be a thing, but every single thing is doing it, and it's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this, right? When it comes to the FOMO, right? There's a lot of people who don't like the monthly cosmetics from Ashes of Creation, because they're like, oh, like if I don't buy this now, I'll never have access to this. And this is what I'll say, like I don't think that their FOMO model is sustainable. I think they're only doing this before the actual launch. And what's kind of funny is a lot of the cosmetics now are very mediocre. Like that's the thing. Well, I don't think that. I think some of them are really good.
Yeah.
But the perception when I keep seeing that, they're just like, this month is so mid. It's so like, it's just it doesn't have that pop, that flair. I'm actually kind of glad it doesn't have pop or flair. This is the way cosmetics should be, because the best stuff should come from the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I hope they stay on this. Intrepid, if you're listening to me, keep going. Make mid after mid month and just have that from now on. Because I mean, for me, I do actually do like some of the cosmetics that have been coming out for the past couple of months. I think some of the mounts have actually been pretty cool too, but I don't want them to take away from what's actually going to be in the game. And again, like these cosmetics, these costumes are still available in game, just in different colors. You know what I mean? This is all just to help promote more money and to have the game be at a better state. You know what I mean? Again, this is an indie company. Honestly, if New World launched from an indie studio, there would be no more New World. It would be shutting down this year, 100%.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I mean, it's had less than 20,000 players for numerous months.
Yeah.
If Intrepid did New World, they couldn't sustain it further to have a whole team and developers. And I mean, hell, that's what happened to WildStar. WildStar went off big in, what was that, 2013? And they failed because after 2 years, no one was playing their game. You know what I mean? So I always feel, especially for Intrepid, that's why I always try to meet people in the middle, because I have a lot of friends that have very hardcore aspects that want Ashes to be in this very hardcore, you know, kind of status. Like, I have friends, bro, they're like, wouldn't it be cool if you went out into the desert and it was pitch black? You can't see nothing. And I'm like, okay, so I go into a zone and I don't see anything. Like, my screen is black. They're like, yeah. And all you have is, like, you have to go to a crafter to get like a piece of wood, like to like light on fire. And you can only see within five yards. And that's it. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, y'all need to calm down, dude. Like, first of all, this isn't a survival game. Like, this is an MMO. Like, I think, and this is my whole thing with it, like, I do feel there could be events. Like, we talked about the event system in Ashes of Creation before. Stevens mentioned it. I honestly would not mind certain events that are actually a little bit more hardcore in nature. That where you do go into the desert and there's like this solar eclipse that happens, but it's a magical solar eclipse. And for like 4 hours in that zone, it's hardcore. Like, it's almost like a survival game. You know what I mean? And there's certain objectives you have to do that you have to work together with other people or your guild or just whatever objectives that are there. And but then after those 4 hours, it goes back to being regular. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's sort of the compromise that I want to kind of come to is, I don't want certain systems to forever be hardcore, but I do want there to be some hardcore principles, but I also want there to be a little bit more casual principles. Because again, like, we have, and for people that say, oh, we shouldn't cater to the casuals, unless you want a dead game, we definitely do need to cater to the casuals in at least some small ways. It doesn't have to be in large, broad stroke ways. The vision can still remain while still having certain things for casuals that they enjoy. Because at the end of the day, there are far more casuals that are playing. There are far more people like you, Q, than there are people like me. Yeah. And that is a fact. And a lot of people just don't understand that.
Don't realize that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what I'm curious about, like, because you said when you were streaming, like, when were you streaming whenever you people were telling you about Ashes of Creation? Was this back in like 2020 or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. So I started streaming in 2018, but
okay,
you know, because I do look a lot of like variety, like, you know, just chatting and, you know, yep. And then just one day it came up, you know, one of my mods had linked me and I watched it, you know, on stream, and ever since then I've literally been hooked. You know, last year I may or may have not bought the alpha, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you know, I played that, and I just, you know, like I said, I just really just got hooked into it. And yeah, I just, like I said, you know, even as a creator for it now, even if I'm not like the biggest or whatever, I just really want to be part of the world, right? So I don't know if that's was going to answer your question that you had, or.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, my whole thing is that when I first found out about Ashes, this was in 2020 as well. It was July of 2020. I remember specifically because I was watching Asmongold's stream, because I love watching Asmon. He's a WoW Andy. I'm a WoW Andy. It just makes sense. But I do love his takes when it comes to MMOs. And
he has some really good takes. I don't mean a button, but like,
no, sure. Yeah,
he has some great takes. Like, just like on like even like aside from MMOs, like he just has some really good takes. But yeah, continue.
For sure. So I was watching his stream, and someone was linking the Lazy Peon video for Ashes, and he watches the live stream, or not the live stream, but he watches the video on his stream.
Yep.
And I'm there like, this is nuts. There's no way this is real, or this has to be a scam. And sure enough, Steven messages him on Twitter, I think, and says, hey, you're watching the Peon video? Just let me know whenever you're done, and I'll call you and we can have a conversation. And I'm like, what the hell is, and you have to understand from my point of view, Blizzard, you know, from World of Warcraft, has never reached out to Asmongold. Ever. He's one of the biggest WoW streamers. Never reached out to him.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it takes so much for a developer to just respond to the community. Just to like, we have so many freaking issues with World of Warcraft back then, and they were just so stubborn and so set in their place of being correct, and we're right, you're wrong. It was super vitriolic, it was super toxic, and it was horrible.
And that was during, I don't mean to jump in, I'm sorry, but that was like during the time where it's like the beginning of the downfall was happening.
Oh, right, yes.
Like, right, yeah. So like, I mean, that probably would have helped, you know. But but yeah, to your point, that same day that I found out about that Peon video, Tim the Tap Man is a creator that, you know, I enjoy.
Oh, I love Tim.
Tim talked to Steven too. Watch that video.
Yeah.
Right. Then I saw the one with Asmon. Watch that video. This is all in the span of one day, by the way.
Dang.
So yeah. So I was just like, you know, like Steven just seems like this really like cool, down to earth dude. And the thing that I tell people all the time is that, yo, Steven is one of us, and that's why I have so much faith. And when I say like one of us, you know, I don't mean he's like a creator, but he's someone that he cares about this project. He cares more about the craft than a dollar. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion, that's the vibe that I get from him. I could be completely wrong, and you know, maybe the dude is planning to scam us, and if he is, he's doing a great job at hiding it. But I don't think that's what's happening. You know?
No, I don't think that's happening at all. I mean, my whole thing is that, again, it's really hard to not be genuine. Like if you're faking genuineness, I can catch that shit so easily.
Yeah.
And again, just the way he was kind of cussing, like not all the time, like, you know what I mean? But you can just feel like he was a gamer, like he was just like us, and the frustrations he had and the passion he had regarding pay to win and just all the bull crap that happens. Like it just made me feel good, because all of us are like, any gamer feels that.
I hate it.
You know what I mean? And so like, that's to me what kind of really, I didn't even know all of the things about Ashes. Like, I just saw the Lazy Peon video, which does explain a crap ton about the game, but I immediately was like, I don't care what this MMO does, I'm gonna support it, because we need more people like Steven,
like that.
You know what I mean? That genuinely care about the state of the MMO genre, and his MMO specifically. And I think, I mean, there's just so many reasons why, like, I personally believe in him and Intrepid, and this live stream was another great example. Like, they keep looking at every MMO that does something correctly, and they almost amalgamate it into their own game, and to see what works. But dude, after seeing that one ability where he vaulted in the air and freaking,
oh my gosh,
dude, everybody's head just blew. Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh. And because like, and I was streaming it, and one of my mods, he was like, you know, that's just great for like repositioning, and I can just, you know, I'm thinking about like PvP, and just I'm like, that, oh my gosh, just jumping up, it's something you see out of a Marvel film.
I know, it's like Hawkeye status, dude. I literally, like, again, coming from as a hunter and playing other range classes, I've never seen an ability like that before, and I love how, just again, familiarity, but also new, like something fresh. And that's the thing that I keep seeing from Intrepid, is that just this freshness that comes with their own game, and the world just like so freaking beautiful. Like,
it's gorgeous.
I don't know, man.
Pollen.
I know.
He was talking about the pollen. I'm like, this is insane.
I know.
Insane. But yeah, just the sun setting, just like the rays, everything is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I'm sorry. Please.
No.
I get super excited.
No, dude, I love it. I love it, man. So So let me ask you this, man.
Let's hear it.
Like, so when it comes to Ashes of Creation, like, what have you seen anything that has caused you any kind of trepidation? Anything that you've seen that something like, I don't know if I like that. Like a lot of casuals that I've talked to really don't like the PvP side.
Yeah, I do it.
And you coming from New World, I mean, I just want to know, like, where's your opinion on this? I'm very curious.
First of all, let me just tell you, man, you have a great bank of knowledge when it comes to MMOs. Let me just say that seriously, because that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say PvP, right? And it's not that I'm so much worried about it, but I enjoy MMOs, like I said, for like, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna log in right now, and me and Vlhadus, we're gonna go raid, and we're gonna go with this person and that person, and we're just gonna have a great night tonight. So it's just like, damn, I can get attacked wherever. I just dropped I dropped another video yesterday on YouTube talking about the naval content, and I know you know, but like as soon as you're in the water, you're flagged for PvP. So it's just like things like that, getting killed when you're on an adventure or you're trying to do something can be discouraging. So that is something that I'm worried about, and not because of that's something that they've implemented, but how am I going to handle that? You know, is that going to deteriorate me from enjoying the game the way I want to enjoy it? And you know, am I just allowing my hype to kind of fuel the drive right now? You know, that's one thing that I always try to keep myself in check about, right? It's just like, am I just, you know, so hyped right now that when the game comes out, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna enjoy it. So yeah, it'd be the PvP aspect.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, let me just break it down because I don't think you answered the
good.
question. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna rephrase it. So does PvP bother you?
No.
Okay. So in New World, correct me if I'm wrong, you can toggle off PvP if you don't want to, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you play New World with PvP on, or do you play it with PvP off?
I play with it off.
Okay. So in Ashes, there's not going to be any toggling. Like, it's going to be on. And here's the thing. And I don't think there's any kind of like a corruption or a penalty for killing players, like when you're out just like, you know, lumberjacking or doing stuff in New World. Is there, or is there not?
No.
Oh, there's no penalty.
No.
Okay. So in Ashes, there are pretty severe consequences for killing somebody that doesn't want to be messed with. So do you think as a casual, are you relieved by that?
I would say I think, and this is just from me, right? I think a lot of people well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but the thing that I would worry about going into it, if I wasn't like a creator or whatever, would still just be the chance of, well, I just having the option of me dying, right? That angst, right? And just that's something that's in the back of my mind, right? Knowing I have to step out to go get the reward, right? The risk versus reward, I could potentially die, right? Is that something I want to deal with tonight after I just left my 9 to 5? You know what I'm saying? After I just X, Y, and Z. So yeah, but again, like, you know, it's to the point that I was saying earlier. It's not going to be for everybody. I know what's coming along with the game, and this is what I'm signing up for. So I'm not going to sit here and say, Steven, we definitely should change this because this is how I want to play the game. No, I respect the game, and I'm going to do my best and give it a try.
Well, and here's my thing, right? And and for you, just to kind of explain it to you, which I'm not saying you need explanation, but for people that I talk to that are very casual in nature, I think there is going to be people killing people in open world PvP. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's going to be to the extent that people think it is. We aren't going to live in a lawless society with absolutely no penalties. You know what I mean? Because in most MMOs, like in New World, there is no penalty for killing somebody. You can get away scot-free and it's fine. Yeah. And in World of Warcraft, same thing. If it's open world PvP, you can kill somebody. Oh, you can spawn camp them 80 times and not get any penalties. But in Ashes of Creation, if you are green and you don't fight back, you being a corrupted player, that's a severe risk. Because now if someone kills you, you can drop your equipped items.
I think the corruption system is done fairly well, to be honest with you.
I think so too.
that's just my take on it. Because like, of course, there are going to be those people that are like they just want to
Right.
kill everybody, but there's going to come a point where you're just ineffective. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I
And
do
so
think there should be an added restriction though, me personally. Um
like what?
so let's think about this in the future. Let's
Mhm.
put Ashes of Creation 1 year after its live launch. Okay? Because now I'm a corrupted player and I'm smart. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill somebody with my awesome gear. Their die. I'm now corrupted. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap to like level 1 gear. You know what I mean? While I'm corrupted. Because if I die, well, my equipped gear, like if I lose it, who cares? It's level 1 gear. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't a big thing. The one change I would make is whatever gear you killed
You
that
lock
person
it.
in is locked.
Yeah, I
You,
think I was gonna say the same thing.
you cannot change your gear at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
No,
think
that's good.
that's like the only one change that I would make, because I feel like people would definitely abuse that. Maybe not at the launch, right? Because we're still gearing up and
Yeah.
everything like that. But I think as a future-proofed problem, that just makes you killing people like that much more risk reward.
Riskier.
Because if you do kill someone with your really awesome gear, well, guess what? You can't switch out of it, which means if you die, one of those shiny pieces of awesome gear might belong to that other person that kills you. So
See, and but that's exactly what I'm talking about with the whole like angst. Just like hearing about this, it's just like damn, because you know how grindy things get, and it's just like damn, do
bro,
you really want to put someone through this and draw? You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
yeah,
And but here's the thing too, right? And this is the other thing that I was telling a lot of my friends that are like really casuals. I was like, don't play Ashes at launch. If you're that trepidatious about it, don't play it at launch. But check the progress, because
Yeah.
what I feel is going to happen is that there probably is going to be servers that are going to start establishing a reputation. So if
For
you want to, yes, like if you want to PvP severely, like and heavily, this server, server is all PvP, man. Like you go in that server, everyone's down to PvP all the time.
yeah,
But let's say you go to another server like Olympus. Olympus is the RP server. Everybody has kind of an understanding where people just like to RP there, and there's not a bunch of world PvP that happens there. Like that's what I feel is going to start happening, is that there's going to be established reputations with servers where if you really don't want to deal with the PvP side of things, like, or at least maybe not to the extent of it being like 80% all the time, maybe this server only does like 10% PvP, because just a lot of the people that go to that server just know we don't care for PvP that much. But it may happen just because if someone bullies somebody else, whatever.
yeah,
We'll deal with it, and then it goes back to being fine. Think of it kind of like a small town. Small towns
Yeah.
have a community where there's not really a lot of violence. There's not a lot of robberies or anything like that. It's a pretty chill community, and that's what I feel might happen with you're gonna have the Houston server, right? And then you're gonna have the small
Yeah.
the small town server. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have Detroit,
yeah.
and then you're gonna have like Midtown, where
Yeah.
it's gonna be super chill. You know what I mean? So I mean that's my thing, right? It's like I just feel like people want to play a great game.
I
And
agree.
again, Ashes, because of how wide it's going with all of these systems, and especially how interconnected they all are, I think from a PvE standpoint, like it would be such a miss if you didn't try to attempt to play this game just because of PvP. Because again, I feel like there are going to be servers that aren't going to PvP that much. So like, I'm just curious, like, what do you think about something like that?
I think it's gonna, just by what you're saying, because from my understanding, there are like you said, like there are certain worlds that things happen in. So I think it's gonna happen regardless, right?
Mhm.
Hey, we have a Discord server for world, Olympus, and
Right.
we're not fighting, yada yada yada. I think it's cool if people can get it to work. Me personally, like I know I am, considered a casual, but I'm not dodging any smoke, right? For lack of a better term.
Right.
I want to experience everything, right?
For sure.
So if I'm gonna, be sailing out in the ocean and I get killed and I lose my stuff, whatever, because that's part of the game, right? And
Right.
I wanna take in everything that makes the game great, right? I don't want to cherry pick the things that I want and I don't want. If I'm gonna appreciate it, I want to appreciate it in full.
That's a
But
good.
I do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just that's a good mentality to have. We'll go ahead.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with like, hey, like this we try to keep the server, you know, strictly PvE. Like I said, I don't know how that's gonna work, especially with like dungeons and, you know, all this other stuff, and you know, some things being instance and not like you're gonna have some confrontation eventually,
For
you
sure.
know. But yeah, I mean, I think if people can get it to work in their favor, you know, and have a great experience to the point where we're not trying to like, you know, like knock on Intrepid's door to get them to change like fundamentals of their game, then sure, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of Ashes of Creation, where the players dictate the content and what happens.
Yeah.
And you know, Asmongold, you know, I've been hearing a lot recently when it comes to servers, and he does not like the idea of servers, like the way original servers work. So he kind of like wants it to be like a mega server. He wants like 50,000 people all in a server together, all doing things together.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even feasible. One thing from a tech standpoint, but from another of just gameplay standpoint, because I've been playing Classic WoW recently. There's a lot of people playing Classic WoW right now. I come from a full server, right? The server is full. Do you know how hard it is to do a freaking quest like where 15 other people in my literal like general vicinity are all doing the same quest I'm doing and killing the same mobs that I need? Extrapolate
Dude,
that by like 5 or 10 times if Asmongold were to have his way.
It's so wild that he would say that, because I was watching one of his VODs of him playing Wrath, and he was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna kill mobs right now, because he was trying to level up to 80 and he went to go do some dungeons. But it's just like, dog, like you want 50k people doing the same thing?
Like all in the same world,
same
like
area,
all like and I understand his point, because a lot of the content that he wants to do is all instance content. It's dungeons, it's raids. But in Ashes of Creation, it's all like there's 20% of it's going to be instance. Everything else is literally going to be in the open world. And I feel the reason why you need to limit yourself is because as soon as you start putting like tens of thousands of players, like even if you were to have a variety of things to do from level 1 to 50, everybody's going to be doing everything, like, and everything's going to always feel like it's there,
cluttered.
Yeah, just cluttered. Or you're going to have mobs just be spawning like every 3 seconds because they're being killed every second. You know what I mean? So how immersive is that when you're just standing in one spot and the freaking board just keeps spawning over and over and over and over because there's hundreds of people around you all killing boars? You know what I mean? So I don't know how you fix that. And the only way you can is if you had like boars die and then 3 minutes later, you know, they spawn back, right? I mean, but who wants to wait 3 minutes?
That's a long time.
No, for sure. But again, like in a more natural setting, that's usually how it works. Like on a server, like usual spawn timers are anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Some special timers, like some special mobs, have longer timers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand his point when it comes to WoW specifically, but that is not the way I think every MMO should handle its players. Because again, it really just depends on what kind of content they're doing. If they're doing a lot of instance content, then sure, like have a mega server, you know what I mean? Because if it's all instance based, who cares? Like you want as many people to be on your realm as possible, or to have the option to play with people, which I think is the more important thing, right? Because who wants to be on a dead server, right?
Very
and
true.
I think that's what Asmongold is trying to talk about. He's trying to remove the dead server thing, because we can just combine everybody so that way you can play with everybody. But with Ashes, and the reason why they're doing server-based realms is because back in the day, you know, it was like 2007 when I started playing WoW, servers mattered. And the reason why they mattered is because you as your player character, your character's reputation on the server mattered. If you were a profession person and you were the like 5 people or 15 people in your server can only make these rare bullets, you had people that friended you and that reached out to you and be like, hey man, I need some more bullets. I have the mats. Can I send them to you or whatever? And when people saw you, be like, hey, dude, you're that engineer who can make those bullets. Or you can be a really good tank in your server. And then you develop that reputation of being a really, really good tank. Like, because servers, you know, not saying we're small, but you saw the same people over and over and over again.
It's a community.
Right. You know what I mean? It's just like a small town.
Yeah.
Comparatively to where when you're in a really large metropolis, you know, like Houston, it's really hard to remember people because there's millions of them. So you're just one out of the million, and there really isn't a kind of server identity or even an individual reputation that you can develop. And to me, I like that. I love, like, whenever I go somewhere, and because I kind of want to be a good guy in Ashes. Like, I kind of want to be the hero, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be the kind of person where if they're getting picked on, I can go up to them and I can be like, hey, you know, I can kill them or whatever, or help them out. That's the kind of person I want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just, you know, I want to develop a reputation for being a good person on my server. And because I know there's going to be people that want to develop a pretty bad reputation. But again, that's on them. That's cool. You know what I mean? And again, like, I love how Ashes allows you to play like that. You know what I mean? And I think there's not a lot of games that allow so much player agency than I've seen in Ashes of Creation. So, like, whenever you're playing casually in New World, like, what do you do on a daily basis? Are you just questing? Do you do your professions, or like exploring?
So that right there, questing and profession. So, like, I actually just got my skinning to like 200, right? So, like,
Okay.
yeah, I like doing my professions, right? The just one issue I have is, like, you can do everything in New World, which is like why I'm like really kind of hyped for Ashes, because it makes you, you know, master a few things. There's a little side tangent, but yes, I love, you know, ranking up my skills and everything, and then just, like, you know, questing, playing with, you know, a few friends, doing some dungeons, and that's really it.
Okay. So, like, in Ashes, like, the reason why I'm a little nervous with professions is because I've never really been a profession person in World of Warcraft. Like, professions for the most part were always pretty crap. Like, back in the day, they used to matter more. Like, it's kind of funny playing classic Wrath now, or even Burning Crusade, and professions actually, like, were pretty individualistic, and you could have certain recipes or certain things that other people did not have. And I love that. And I'm like, man, I don't understand why WoW streamlined it to where everybody was a cookie cutter profession and everybody can do what everyone else does.
Yeah.
And there's no individualism. You know, there's nothing that you do differently than what some other person does. And it made the professions really boring. But in Ashes, it's going to be very similar to Star Wars Galaxies. Now, I'm pretty sure you probably haven't played that MMO. Many people have not played that MMO. But professions in Star Wars Galaxies was insane. They probably had one of the most robust profession system of probably any MMO. And I am really happy that Ashes is going that direction, but I'm extremely nervous because I don't know if I'm going to like that. I don't know if I like that kind of gameplay. And actually, I haven't told anyone this, but I am planning on probably playing New World.
Really?
Yes. Only reason why is because once the expansion comes out, I don't know if I'm going to pay $40 for it. I'm going to see if it goes on sale. But if it goes on sale, I will probably buy it because I want to try the gathering and the professions in New World.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about the professions in New World. And so I don't know, like, I did play it for 20 minutes. I think it was like 2 months before the game went live in the beta.
Yep.
Didn't like it, but I didn't really try the professions that much because I don't play MMOs for the professions. I play it for the combat. I play it for the classes. And, you know, New World doesn't have classes, so it was really hard for me to really get in the game at all. Yep. But I digress. I do want to retry it to really try out the professions. So, like, since you have done the skinning and stuff like that, what do you think of, like, the other gathering professions in New World, like the lumberjacking, the fishing, the skinning, the just picking up herbs, and just in general?
Bro, I think it's all dope. Honestly, and that's what I'm saying with like with me, like in my casualness, that's what I'm looking for. I love being like, hey, like I'm just gonna hop in a world and I'm gonna go pick that leaf. I'm gonna go scoop this water. I'm gonna go get those herbs. I think it's so lit. I play with one of my homies,
Hmm.
and he's like, hey, like like I can craft you some like star metal stuff. You need that. And it's just like it's like some type of ore, right?
Right.
And it's just for better gear, etc., etc.
Hmm.
I think that's so dope. But again, the issue that I have is I can do everything. So
Right.
there's no individuality within that, right?
Hmm.
If I just grind enough, I don't need anyone to do anything for me, right? Whereas in what you were talking about, with like back in the day, and like wow, it's like Vlhadus did this,
Yep.
Q did this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I do think that's one thing that they could work on. I mean, obviously you can't take people's skills away now, but that's why I'm excited for Ashes doing that, because it's gonna be you're gonna have to figure out what you want to do,
Right.
you know.
And again, just to preface, like I believe the way the professions are going to work in the beginning is you will be able to try out everything in
Mhm.
Ashes. The only thing is that once you niche down, you'll only be able to do the beginning stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so there's going to be, I think, 5 tiers of like gathering. So there's tier 1 gatherables, and it goes to tier 2, so on all the way to tier 5. Anybody can gather tier 1. At least that's what I think, if I'm reading it correctly on the wiki. So that way you can kind of see more or less what you may like, what you may not like. But then once you start calculating points in whatever path you want to go to, then you won't be able to really collect tier 2 mining stuff if you're
Yeah.
going down the herbing route or the fishing route. You know what I mean? So that's where, it's going to start limiting you in that sense. And in New World, I want to say that the gathering stuff feeded into its new tier. So you needed gathering tier 1 materials to go into tier 2. You need tier 2 materials to do tier 3. Does it work
Mhm.
that way?
Yeah, especially in
Okay.
terms of like experience and everything.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't know. I love the fact that every tier is necessary. Like, because in World of Warcraft, you can literally forget about like every tier below you. You just need the highest tier. Like once you get up to that
Really?
point, yes. So there's never a reason to go back and get those old herbs unless you want to make old stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But and you can't get the old stuff to convert it into new stuff either. So it's just, again, like it doesn't really have a feeding mechanism built into World of Warcraft. But in Ashes, it's definitely going to be that way, hopefully. And again, many things can change. We can go into the beta; it can be completely different. But I think that's one big reason of why I'm excited about the whole profession system in general, is the fact if it's just going to really promote individualism. And I just think many MMOs have just strayed away from that. I mean, even Final Fantasy 14, as many people praise that game, you can be every class, you can be every profession. It's really a game of convenience at that point. And many people love that convenience. I'm not trying to say it's bad, but for me, I just like individualism. So,
I think it also helps with like, because this is another thing that I think helps MMOs, and I'm sure you'll agree. But it helps the economy, right? And it helps everything that we're
yes.
trying to we're trying to build. Each server is a community, right? Vladis does, animal husbandry. So that's who I want to go see, right?
Hmm.
So just in that right there, in that interaction, I already have to reach out to you, which is already us engaging in that social aspect, which is
Right.
what MMOs should be doing, right? Or
Yes.
is a vital part of MMOs. So it's like, again, it's more than just, oh, you don't want us to do everything. It's like, no, it's like we're making everything diverse so we can continue to build our community, build our server up, you know. So that's another reason that I'm super excited for it.
Right. So I'm just curious, since you kind of play like a mage like character in New World, are you excited for the mage archetype in Ashes?
100%. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I was saying this earlier. So Alpha 2 comes out. I think I'm gonna try to play a different class just because I want to explore. But obviously everything's getting wiped. But I'm definitely going mage just as soon as like the game like officially 100%. I'm even thinking of going mage for my my secondary. Yeah, I'm trying to do it, man.
Dude,
So
yeah. Honestly, like, so I'm just curious too. Like, are you? are you excited about the 64 class system in general, or do you think that it's a little too like it's too much? Like, do you think it's too much for you as a casual to absorb, or do you think you got a pretty good grasp on the system?
So for me, man, I am someone, if I'm really interested in something, I will sit down and I'll read the entire wiki and I'll try to, figure everything out.
Right.
For someone who's not like that, I do think it can be a lot, because I know some people are thinking, oh, like I can be a mage, and then, oh, like I want to be a ranger at level 25. So like maybe I can combine the two. And it's not that at all.
Yeah.
It's not what people think. It's augmentations, you
Yeah.
know. So for me personally, I don't think it's a lot, just because like I'm also doing a lot of research on the game. I'm more excited than anything. I actually kind of want to try out all the different
Right.
classes, right? For mage, at least, for
Right.
content purposes, obviously.
Right.
But just because like I want to see like what I'm gonna like the best too, like what's the meta and all this other stuff, how to play my class the best way.
Right. And it's kind of funny, right? Because in my guild, we always talk about meta, and I know it's gonna happen. We live in a day and age with information where
Yep.
everything's meta to hell,
Yep.
right? Even as content creators, right? Like, we're gonna put up guides and different things of playing the best or the most optimal, or whatever. I'm still debating if I even want to do content that way. Like, even if I really love, let's say, the summoner, and I'm a really good summoner,
Okay.
I don't know if I want to make a summoner guide. I don't know. Like, I mean, I've been thinking about it, and I'm not saying there is going to be summoner guides. Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm not going to contribute to it, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I just don't know if I want my content to be like, oh, this is the guide to it. I potentially could, or I could just kind of give it a different approach as to, like, how to play a summoner like in the open world, or how to play a summoner, in castle sieges or something like that. Like, I don't, especially because there's not going to be any damage meters. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, who cares? Like, I think people should just play how once it feels good to you, stick to that and get good with that. Because that's what I did when I started playing WoW. Back in the day, there weren't guides. I mean, there were, but they were rough, man. Those guides were horrible back in 2007, because this was like, YouTube was what, 3 years?
It was like 2-3 years old at that point.
At that time. So I mean, it was super, super rough back then, but I just played what felt good to me, and I had a blast. And back then, the min-max community wasn't as toxic the way as it is now. Like, it's a whole different story nowadays.
But and again, that's exactly why like I take the approach that I do with like the content that I make, and just even like playing games, man. You just want to be like a positive, like, influence, and like you're a real like positive dude, and that's what I, another aspect that I appreciate about your content, because you're like, yeah, I don't even know if I want to do like those type of guides, when there are a lot of people, and nothing against those people who are like, yeah, like I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be the first to do that, and you like they just want to like they want to rake in like the popularity and like the views and everything,
Right.
when you're more concerned with like the overall look at it, and I really respect that.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I guess the only reason why I brought up the whole min-maxing is because for someone like you who does play MMOs pretty casual, do you ever feel the like, do you ever feel forced to play the meta?
So so I play a lot of Destiny 2, right?
Okay.
I play a lot of Destiny 2, right?
We have people in the guild that play Destiny 2 a lot. Yep.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Word. So like I've played Destiny since the beta on PS3.
Dang. So
Yeah.
did you play Destiny 1 and 2, or just 2?
Yeah. No, Destiny 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing, so like I wouldn't say like I'm a tryhard, but I have a very like nostalgia. I love the game.
Right.
Love the game. So every season I'm very much in tune with what's going on, like what weapons we should be using, how we should be using them. I'm an Invis hunter. I have all 3 characters, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I feel pressured, but I definitely will say, in gaming culture, if you aren't min-maxing, I feel like it's definitely harder to find people to play with if you already don't know people. right? So like in Destiny, like if you don't know people, I've done a lot of LFG, bro. It's super toxic. If you don't like know what you're doing, or you're getting kicked. I'm not even, bro. I'm not even joking, dude.
No,
I'm not
I
even
get you.
joking.
I get
Like
you.
it's like, bro, like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, brother, the expansion dropped yesterday. Well, just that, like, bro, it's insane. So I wouldn't say that like I necessarily like feel pressured. Like I do, but I don't. But just because like the way that I am, I always want to be the best at like the things that I do. So
Right.
I want to try at least. You know, I'm not saying I want to like, you know, like I'm getting on the game and I'm trying super hard, but I do want to try and I do want to have a good experience and I want to contribute to the team, right?
Right.
So we can hopefully have a positive experience. so so yeah, man. And I really push this whole like positivity thing because there's a lot of toxicity that goes on, especially like in
Yeah.
like the Destinies and like the MMOs and everything. So
No,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's why I joined Axiom, man. Like I was in a guild for a while, like
Mhm.
in World of Warcraft for almost 6 years. And towards the end, I've always felt like the tensions were high. There were some toxic people in that guild. And I just felt like my time was kind of done. I
Yeah.
needed to be around new people. Like because it's almost like when you grow up with like a certain crowd of friends, and those friends are kind of trash. Like they're trash friends, but they're your friends and they've been with you since the beginning or
Yeah.
whatever.
You
And
outgrow 'em though.
yeah, and you grow up though, and you're like, why are you guys still trash? Like, why haven't y'all grown up? You know what I mean? I felt
Yeah.
like that's kind of like what it was, at least to me. So when I went to start looking for a community that I could join, one of the people I met was Fane. And he was like, yeah, man, like if you ever want to join Axiom, like, you're more than welcome to join, man. And I was like, and at first I didn't want to join a community at all because I'm like, why? Like Ashes is not going to come out for years. Like, why do I need to join a
Yeah.
community now? Like, it makes no sense. I am so glad that I did that, because the one thing about when you're playing a live MMO, especially when it's at the launch, the last thing you're doing is getting to know your guild. Everybody is like doing objectives, doing jobs, doing this, doing
Already
that.
locked in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're all locked in.
Already locked in.
And at that time, like, you're already contributing to the guild or whatever, and then you're setting up for raids or just doing whatever, right? And then that's when the problems started rising, right? Because personalities start coming out. Then you're starting to now you're starting to know people
Yeah.
through the game, which is stressing you out, stressing them out. So now you're getting like things are heated or things are like and I think Ashes is going to be quite crazy, like when it launches. So I just feel so good that I found a community that, first of all, is positive, and secondly, like, they're all near my age. So we're all like, we've been there, done that. We still have people that want to treat Ashes really hardcore. Like, I want to try to do as hardcore as I can, but I'm probably going to play Ashes kind of semi-hardcore because dude, I'm old, man. Like, I've done it. I don't want to be up till like 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Playing, like, I got a job, I got a family, I got kids. Like, I'm not 28 anymore. Like, when I was 28, I was single, I was good. You know what I mean? Definitely not anymore. So I would say, Q, take advantage. Like,
appreciate it, man.
I don't know your living situation. I don't know if you got a girl or whatever, but if
I'm actually married.
Oh, you're married. Okay. Okay. I don't got my ring
kids,
on. Yeah.
So I can stay up to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm married, man.
And I'm glad that my wife allows me to do that. She's like, babe, if you want to stay up late to play, is like, play. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because we do have kids, but I know not every husband has that luxury to to do that. I have a lot of my own friends that are husbands that are like, dude, you're so freaking lucky. I hate you. It's like my wife's like, at 9:30, we're going to bed.
Yikes.
And I'm just like, like, bro. But I guess, to kind of like just wrap up our conversation, because again, I can't believe it's already been an hour and some odd minutes. But like, so cute. Why do you believe in Ashes? Like, what is it about? Like, is it just about the overall experience, or was it Steven that kind of like, I don't know, because I feel like for someone like you that's playing Destiny, everything like that, it just feels like Ashes was literally going against you when it comes to like the features and everything that it has. I'm just curious as to like what really hooked you.
It's Steven, man. And this is exactly what I was saying. It's So really quick, Destiny is kind of like Call of Duty, right? Like you play it every year because like you have a soft spot for it. You like it, but you hate it.
Yeah.
Yo,
No,
and that's what
I
it is
know.
for me, right? Because like they announced late fall, and like guess who got the collector's edition already? You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. But you know, at the end of the day, so just to go back a little, when Destiny switched over to the whole battle pass method, I stopped playing it. Right, it's a very on and off game for me. Very on and off. I can like play it for like 6 months and step away for a year. That's how I am with Destiny.
Hmm.
But you know, growing up, I never got to play Halo because I didn't have an Xbox, and Destiny is my Halo. Yeah,
I played
right.
Halo.
See, and you, I can just see the memories, the love
Oh,
from just
dude.
from you saying that. Exactly. Right. I've played Halo, but I never got to own it and stay up late. And you know, like, you know, I've done custom games and stuff because my cousin had it, but like that would be,
Yeah.
you know, a couple of weekends that for out of a summer. But
Right.
I never really got to have that experience. So I made a promise to myself, like when I was, you know, 19, I'm like, when Destiny comes out, like this is gonna be my Halo. And ever since then, I've stuck with it. I've taken my time off, but I've stuck with it. But that doesn't mean that again that I'm ignorant with Destiny 1, with the whole like them taking away the content and then like them kind
Right.
of like selling it back to us. That's messed up, and I call things for what they are, dude.
Right.
It's messed up. Destiny 2 right now is in a really good, they're in a solid spot. They will need to make some changes in the future, but right now they're in a solid spot. But as far as Ashes go, it's what I was saying to you earlier. It's just it's bigger than a new MMO. It's bigger than just, oh, like the node system. We have someone here who has put his time, his money, his passion into something that he wants. Do you know how gangster that is, man? Like think yo, but like
It's
really like
true.
think about this. Like, you know, you have all these like old heads. It's like, yo, back in my day, like them rappers didn't rap like that, and this, that, and the third. Now imagine if those same people went out and made a rap album, and it was like that's how I
True.
look at this. That's how I look at this, and it's highly anticipated, right? The same people that talk about like how movies used to be, how cars used to be. If those
Right.
people that were so passionate or that are passionate about those things went out and did it themselves and put up their own money and their own time and have stuck with it, and to me, like I said, that's so it's more than it's more than Ashes. Ashes is it's like it's a staple. And again, if this gets pulled off, imagine what this can do for the gaming culture and and for
Right.
media. And I know I'm like way ahead of myself because it's like, well, Q, you're not even really focused on Ashes, but because it's so much bigger than that, and that's just like where my mind goes. It's just so much bigger than that, and I just so happen to, you know, like MMOs, right? So it's like, you know what, this makes me want to be a tryhard. This makes me want to, like, you know, do my best, and see everything that this world has to offer and really be part of this community and give it my all. So, but that's why I'm sold on it, man, because it's so much more than that. I love MMOs, and I guess I love the thought of MMOs, and I just really want to explore. So like I just have a bunch of boxes that are just getting checked off for me. So it's just like it's like the perfect piece of media for me, I guess.
Nice. Dude, honestly, like, you love anime. We're friends
I
already. Like,
do.
it's like we
I
have been talking about
do.
that.
I
So
do.
so I mean, like, it is what it is, man. But like, dude, honestly, man, like, I really enjoyed our conversation. And like I said, you can
Same.
always reach out to me, man, if you ever need help with content, ideas, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm only a Discord message away. But
Yeah.
Q, thank you so much, dude, for reaching out and watching my content and you know, leaving comments and doing your own content. Like, I'm looking forward, because that video that you put out for Naval, I'm going to be reacting to this Friday.
Oh
So,
wow.
so yeah, I'm going to react to that video. So
Word.
I haven't seen it, so I'm going to react to it, and I'll put that up for, what is it?
Word.
I can't,
Appreciate it.
I can't remember what Friday. It's going to be the 7th. So
Word.
yeah. So
Appreciate it.
that way I'll be able to see like what you said, and I'll give my thoughts on the naval stuff, because I have a lot to say when it comes to naval. I've never
Yeah.
done naval. World of Warcraft does not have naval. So I'm really excited to see like what they're going to do, because I don't think you ever done naval either, right?
I haven't.
Right?
You want to know how green I am? I have never even ridden road amounts in a video game. That's how green I am. That's how green I am.
Bro.
So that's like there's just so many things that like I'm
Oh
so
man.
excited to experience. You know, so many things. Going into a raid with 40 men and you just getting on my mount for the first time. Bro, if I can get a flying mount, oh my gosh, dude. Like, you know,
I feel like Ashes is gonna be your new Destiny. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
like the way you felt at 19 playing Destiny is probably the way you're gonna feel now playing Ashes, because it's probably gonna be your first real like MMO experience.
yes.
You know what I mean?
And I don't mean to butt in, but it's so funny that you say that, because I was explaining this to my team and to my wife, and I was like, you know, there are only two other things that I have looked into as much as I am with Ashes. One of them is Kingdom Hearts. It's my favorite video game series ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
like I know all the lore. I have my PhD in Kingdom Hearts. And the other one would be Destiny. Right. So it's
Gotcha.
just like as everything's coming out, like it's like I'm on the wikis. I'm watching, you know, your hour-long videos. I'm watching everyone else's content. And I'm like, this isn't something I do for a regular video game. When
Right.
Destiny was just before the beta even came out, I'm watching videos. I'm looking up interviews. I'm like looking up gameplay. I was watching it at E3. I was doing all of those things. And I'm not saying that's gonna like I'm gonna be the best Ashes creator ever, but I'm getting that same feeling. So I don't think you're wrong at all. I would definitely say this is gonna be my new thing, and I am looking for a forever game.
Yeah.
You know, I
Me
think
too.
I think it's so dope to just to meet people. Like, bro, like it's so sick that I'm able to, you know, chat with you, and not even on a content level, but just like, you know, like man to man. I think that's just so sick, and this is something that Ashes has already done.
Yep.
You know, and that it, you know, not for the cameras or whatever, but it really does mean a lot to me. You know, because I love meeting genuine people, you know, and sharing those experiences. Like I said, bro, you know, my hero. I'm like, oh, my hero, they're coming out with the new episode tomorrow. And I
I
can't wait to watch it.
know. I'm so excited.
I
So
can't
excited.
wait. So, but yeah, man, you know, it means a lot to me, and I'm hoping they don't let us down. And I know they won't. So
Awesome, man. Well, that is Q, or that is Q. And if you like this conversation, then hit that like, share it with your friends through social media or whatever to give the YouTube algorithm gods the chance for this video to show up for new people. I'm Vlhadus with Vlhadus Gaming, and wait, that is stick Q Quint, or how do you say your name properly?
it's the Keno.
Butchered it entirely. Awesome.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
I'll just call you Q. How about that?
There you go. That's why it's there, bro.
But, we will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Take care.